you're taking away the core of wanting good to come to them and willing to work for their benefit. But what you're flipping it around to is having them to work for your benefit. You basically fell in love with yourself, and you want somebody to share what you view as the greatness of you with them.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Sometimes we could be demanding. Sometimes we have an image in our head that how we want our family to be, how our life to be, how it to look. And when we try to build this, you know what? We want everybody to fall in play and do they role. You know, it is kind of crazy sometimes. But as a family's keeper, you kind of got to watch for that. Because as a family's keeper, you got to always rep the basics when it comes down to love. And what I mean by that is, it is very easy to get caught up with what a lot of single people may say, what the internet may say, what some of these love gurus may say. And what they're normally tailoring to is to think about self. But when it comes to love, it's a selfless act. It's a selfless emotion. So you're at a tug of war with being loving, selfless, versus being selfish, which is the total opposite of love. Now, am I saying having expectations is wrong? No. As a matter of fact, with great love comes great expectations. However, at the same time, it's all on how you manage those expectations. I'm not sitting here saying set your standards low. Definitely not that. But what I am sitting here saying is that you have to accept the reality of certain situations and you have to learn how to work along with them. But also at the same time, you have to be a little bit more realistic when you place things upon people.
One of the best kept secrets that you could ever have is meeting people where they at. Reason being is because you can't force people to move. You can't force people to act. All you can do is advise. I mean, if you try to over push them, what happens? You break them. If you try to underdo it, then sometimes you just irritate them and they don't move enough. So the best thing you could do is meet people where they at, because you need to give them the exact push that they exactly need for them at that moment in time, instead of trying to get your way or try to push them based upon their potential. Because if you try to push them based upon what you think their potential is, you just might end up breaking them and over pushing them to the point of exhaustion.
Because truth be told, if everybody level was currently at the level you thought, then you shouldn't be disappointed at all. No, because they'll be meeting those standards. They'll be meeting those expectations. But since they are not, you have to accept the reality that they are not meeting those expectations. And just be like, all right, this is where you at. You do have the potential, but at the same time, I have to accept this is where you're at and work with you to help get you there. That way I'm not so upset. It's your personal expectations that are on there. And sometimes we could set some false ones. I've been that way sometimes in my life. I did it with my family. I did it with my daughter and my wife. It was very hard at times to accept that reality. But to be a good father and to be a understanding husband, I had to learn how to manage my expectations. It's just what it is, you know, because you really want people to win. And then with love comes great expectations. But with love, It comes with expectations sometimes being exceeded and sometimes some disappointment.
One of the hardest things on the planet to do is not take it personal when you love someone. The reason being is because you love that person. You want to see them win. You want to see them hit their goals. You want good to come to them. And when you love somebody, you are invested into them. And when you're invested into something, it is very easily to get personal, especially when they disappoint you, they hurt your feelings, they hurt your soul, especially when they seem not to get it, they seem not to care, and you've been telling them over and over and over again, and it just seems like they're not going to make it or get where you want them to go or where you guys have discussed about going. It can get personal because you get tired and lose faith. And what they say, pressure bust pipes. But that is the cost of love, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Now, what do I mean by that? Okay, when it comes down to love, love is a basic human emotion. But when it breaks it down in its simplest form, textbook is wanting good to come to others and willing to work for one's benefit. If you got an image in your head on how you think your family should be and world perfect and certain expectations on how everybody should follow the line and stuff like that, in some sense, you're not working for your family. You're using your family as a tool to work towards the image that you have for you. You're taking away the core of wanting good to come to them and willing to work for their benefit. But what you're flipping it around to is having them to work for your benefit. You basically fell in love with yourself and you want somebody to share what you view as the greatness of you with them. And that kind of could be a selfish thing. It happens all the time when you see fathers out here pressuring, or parents out here pressuring their kids to play sports, or pressuring their kids for certain activities up in math, science, and stuff like that, or telling their kids they're going to be a doctor, and the kid doesn't know what they want to be when they grow up. Instead of trying to find what they're going to be, you chose their career. Or telling your wife what job she's going to have or what her role is supposed to be, without actually trying to find out what role she wants to play, and how you can help her get there. You're making it more about what you want versus them. And we see that a lot of the time in conversations when I was saying, like, with these love gurus and stuff like that, with questions like, what do you bring towards the table? What can you do for me? How can you help me out? And I'm not sitting here saying some of those questions aren't good. But what I'm saying is, are we also asking the question on how can we love them and what are their goals are so we can learn how to contribute to them? Are we asking them, how can we be and what are we going to be towards this person to help make them greater? Because if you love someone, you're going to be mainly working. You're going to be mainly helping them out. You're going to be mainly building them up. Love is not about you. It's about the other. And it's very easy to get caught up today with these things. You see it all the time. It's like we're becoming more and more self-absorbed, and we're more focused on us than everyone else. And the funny thing is, one of the things of being happy is about feeling that you have a purpose in life, feeling like you are contributing to the world. But these days, it seems like we're always disappointed because we think the world is not contributing to us in the way that we envision it. And that measuring stick can never be fulfilled because it's never enough. But that's all I got to say right now, you guys. Watch out for her. Alright, if you're going to be a family's keeper, you got to be selfless and not selfish.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.